Welcome back, everybody. First of all, to the wonderful wide world of Pokemon in 2021. It is the first episode of Mount Silver in 2021.
Wow.
Of course, I am Meelz. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
Yes.
I am here with Big Gucci Pafif.
Hello.
We need to talk to Pat for a second.
It's been a minute, right?
We need to talk to Pat for a second, exclusively to Pat. People, listen, on this network, people can obviously hear Pat on late fees, on the RNC Radio Watch side of things, so you can definitely hear him on that. But it's been a while. It's been since Halloween since we've heard him on this side of things.
Yeah, and late fees is actually on a little bit of a hiatus too.
So Pat, what the hell have you actually been up to for the last number of months since we've heard from you? Since we've last
besides lifting.
I have actually been lifting a little bit. Don't tell the ladies, or tell them. I don't care. I'll tell you what. Actually, you want to know something? Okay, so I had a set of 25-pound dumbbells that I've used sporadically for the last 3 years, but never really in any sort of regimen. And I've been using them for the last 9 months. But you still can't really get dumbbells anywhere because of the pandemic. And so I ordered those adjustable ones from Bowflex, but I should have ordered them fucking 5 months ago because they're not coming till June. I get an email once a week from Bowflex. It's like, don't worry, it's still coming. People want dumbbells more than ever. I'm like, God damn it. So that's been going on. I was just kicking it into high gear probably the last time we talked. By the end of last year, I watched 301 movies I had not seen before.
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
And I think this year I'm on 60 some already. Okay. So I'm ahead of the number of days in the year currently. I know that. So just sick behavior over here on my end. But
you're staying busy, man. You're staying busy.
Absolutely. First of all, we have some movies to watch on the lookout, so maybe we're gonna have to call you up when we watch.
Please, I'm happy to.
I think this year is the 20th anniversary of Spirited Away. I've never seen it.
Wow, that's sick behavior.
Yeah. I've never seen it. So just know I'm calling you for this podcast.
Okay, yeah, I would love to. Okay, hang on a second. When is the Demon Slayer movie coming out in across the pond?
Never.
Yeah.
Is it really just not coming out?
No, it's going to come out.
It's just
the show got renewed, right? They are doing a second season.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're absolutely doing a second season. But the thing is that I think so here's my theory on what's happening.
Okay.
And this is all non-Pokemon related, so shout out to you if you're going through this. But I'm assuming if you listen to this network, you know what the hell we're talking about. Here's my theory. So Demon Slayer is the #1 movie ever released in Japan, apparently.
Didn't it actually beat Spirited Away?
It did.
Yeah,
it broke all records.
Destroyed
it. Broke all things.
I think it hit that 300 mark or 400 mark, I think.
Yeah, it's legitimately become the most popular movie in Japan of all time. So I'm assuming they're waiting for movie theaters to open up around the United States.
So they can go.
So people can go watch the movie so they can add to that tally.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, I mean the tally is more. They're not gonna kill it.
Listen,
out here
I'll date the episode right now by saying they're extremely psyched that Tom and Jerry just made $13 million fucking dollars. Which, guess what? If it had made that in any normal circumstance, heads would have rolled. So Demon Slayer is not making. I mean, if it breaks even on what it costs to ship the digital prints, over here, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Whatever.
People will buy it. People will buy it. It doesn't.
Yes. Let me buy the $25 Blu-ray. I'm stupid. I'll buy it.
Yeah, for sure.
People will buy it. But nonetheless, I'm glad you're doing okay, and I'm glad you're doing fine, and I'm glad you just cranking out these friggin' movies. And
I feel good. I sacrificed almost every. I can't. No, I'm incapable of reading a book. I've forgotten how to do it, but I sit down to read a book and suddenly the television is on. But otherwise, it's going great.
Absolutely.
You guys are doing well?
We've been binging anime and shit.
Of course, there's a lot going on right now.
A lot going on. Jeff sports, me anime, wrestling. You know what the deal is.
You know how
All right. So with that said, we have a couple of
Pokemon.
major things to talk about today, and that is it. I mean, this is the Pokemon podcast. This is what we're supposed to do. We have a number of things to talk about. I feel like looking back and trying to remember all the Pokemon news from October to now, I can't even remember. So I'm just only going to mention the things that are recently that are.
Oh, hang on. I have one that I think you're not going to mention, so let me get it out of the way first. Which is,
okay, go ahead.
If you have one of the Gengar pillows,
this is good information right here.
In dead stock condition, message me or the Lookout on Twitter. I will pay you an embarrassing amount of money for it.
The Gengar, the new plushie is amazing. It's amazing.
Let me have the pillow.
So, I think that's
Listen,
fair.
Their whole plushie game is just on another level.
They really are.
I know.
You know, I got like 5 myself.
But they're in the business of now like life-size one.
Yes,
like you're paying $300.
That's what's great about it. I want the fucking huge one that costs as much as a child.
Somebody hit up Pat, man.
I'm not. Yeah, someone please hit him up. Like between that, you know, like all those Project Thunderbolt shits that are like only released in Japan, and you can't get any of them.
The murdered out Mew.
Yeah, and just all those other stuff like that. America never gets the cool stuff. And fair, we don't appreciate it Pokemon as much as we should. For revitalizing the economy in 2019. We don't appreciate it as much as we could. It's like, oh, what have you done for me lately? But with that said, plushie game on thing. Let's talk about the first. All right, so we have 3 games we're going to talk about because they've done the announcement of 3 games. The first one is going to be called, and I'm just seeing this for the first time. It is not called Pokemon Snap. It is called New Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, New Pokemon Snap.
Is that really what it's called?
It is called. That's the name.
I kind of like it.
It's cool. I mean, the 64 version is so old. I don't know why you got to put new on there. It's not like you can play it anywhere else.
You can reboot any other franchise in any other medium and just call it the same thing as the one from the 70s. So
maybe they just like the way it felt. I don't know. Cool, whatever.
It's not like you can get the old Pokemon Snap right now.
You can. Yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why we put new.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. I think Jeff maybe played the old one?
Yeah, I have it at the house right now.
Of course he does.
Yeah, I do have it. It still works.
Condition.
Yeah, it still works. I don't have any of my fucking boxes, unfortunately, man. It's awful. But I do have Pokemon Snap. The old one is, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, I don't intend the game being very long. I guess it depends how many achievements they want you to do on this game, because the old version is not difficult. It's just you love Pokemon so much you just played it because of what it was.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling about this new one. Like, I'm glad it exists, and I think like just the concept is great, but I don't know that I will play it.
Yeah. You know, if you're into it or if you have any memories of the old one, you'll definitely go back. But like, if you're not into what they're trying to create again, Pat, glad it exists. It probably should have happened, a while ago, but
it's weird it doesn't exist in every generation.
Yeah, for real, because I think it was that popular for a Pokemon game that was outside of Stadium. I think Stadium was like so hardcore and so loved that at that moment we'll buy anything Pokemon related for a video game. But Snap is not it's not traditional. You just take pictures, you get achievements, and that's it.
Yeah, and it was kind of tied to like something that was, I guess, a huge gimmick originally. Like you could the idea that you could like print out pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
From like the N64s and
the
Game
on the
Boys.
Back
like,
of
it's ridiculous now. It's
it was awful. I think they took like 2 minutes to actually print out or something like that.
Yeah, like a shitty sticker of a Mew.
That's it. But it existed.
It's cool. It's cool. But it is weird that like there were 2 iterations of Wii there's Wii and Wii U, which is, I mean, kind of largely where I think most people would say
I thought it was coming on the Wii U.
Their way.
I thought Snap was coming back to the Wii U.
Why didn't it? Like, it's one of the few things that would have gotten like good attention for the Wii U.
Yeah.
I think by the end of Wii U's life, I think people were like, "What is this? Like,
why
does it exist? What's with is this?" It had become known for like only being.
It had the
fit thing.
The lifespan was like 2 hours on the actual pad. It was just not. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I think that's one of the things. The Switch, like that's why the Switch is here and why it's so convenient, and
Yeah, and one of the things that is most amazing about the Switch is it's like, oh yeah, they really had to come back with something totally game changing, and they did, because I think and I'll stop pontificating on Nintendo here in a second, but like when GameCube came out, it was kind of like only like it's an amazing system, but it's kind of only for people who like really liked Nintendo because everybody else was like, yeah, I have a PlayStation now. I'm not buying a GameCube.
For sure.
I bought a GameCube.
Yeah, I did too.
I love my GameCube,
bro. Yeah,
you know,
I
love my
think it's
GameCube.
one of the best systems ever.
Bro, Sonic Adventure Battle 2 was on there, and that's all I needed. I could get Chow's, and NBA Courtside was really fun for me at that time.
I love Courtside, even though it was actually like a way worse game
it was a bad game.
than
Kobe
NBA
was
Live
on it,
or Street. Yeah, I know exactly. I bought it because Kobe was on it. But so anyway, so like then they went from GameCube to Wii, and it was like, oh, people really don't fucking play this thing. So so my point is, why did Pokemon Snap come out sooner?
Can I give you a story about Wii for a second? Quick story.
Please. The worst accessories for any system ever, by the way.
Absolutely, because my job, they have, of course, the health and I work at a school. They have a health and wellness gym sort of thing. The school bought maybe like 20 Wii's, 20 Wii U's for kids to be active. Let me tell you, and that was I forgot when Wii or Wii U came out.
Long time ago.
They are still unboxed to this day.
That's hilarious.
Brutal.
They have not moved. They have not done anything. I'm not sure. And it's like a whole new staff now. So they're like, we just came and there was just a bunch of Wii's all over the department. So we didn't know what to do with them. And I'm like, damn.
It's the type of thing too that like people over a certain age just kind of assume like, oh, well, we could just put this on eBay for $100. It's like, no one on earth literally like, I wouldn't want this for free.
That's what I'm saying. When I left GameStop, their retail was like $49.99. You know, used. Obviously, there were no new ones, but they were like $49.99. You know, you could just walk out with one for $50 and like 2 games. So.
I think it's just because when the Wii came around, I don't want to say nostalgia wasn't truly invented yet, but I definitely was not as taken advantage of, or at least people go back because like. The closest thing we got to nostalgia in that era was like they're coming out with Fire Red and Leaf Green. Like holy shit!
Yeah, like that was back in the time when like the only TV show that had been revived was Family Guy.
Yeah,
so, like it wasn't just like, oh, you just want the same shit. Well, here you go.
Right now it's like where it's like
it's like Skyward Sword $60.
yeah, for real.
Donkey Kong Country, we're selling it for the 8th time again, but you're gonna buy it because it's fucking Donkey Kong Country.
Grand Theft Auto remastered for PlayStation 5.
Sure, I'm down.
So the new Pokemon Snap, as they call it, you're a player who is a photographer, who visits various islands in the Lentil region.
Yeah. The Lentil region.
This region will not be canon. You guys already know this. So
of course not.
Let's get this out of the way now. This will not be a canon region.
Legitimately, all they have on it is that it's an archipelago with beaches, jungles, and deserts.
Yo, I just found out what archipelago meant like 6 months ago. I was faking it my whole life.
It says, okay, so the Lentil region, the professor, which is Professor Mirror, the names just,
you know, I mean,
they went with the win. Professor Mirror and his assistant Rita guide the player across islands of Lentil to inform about the researchers' team ecological survey. Phil, a boy who arrived in the Lentil region and has a rivaling relation towards the player, also joins the research team.
Phil.
So
we're taking pictures. Bro. Honestly, I'll buy the game, and I'll only say that because I have experience with Snap. So like they draw me in just off that. If I was a 31-year-old man, never played Pokemon Snap on 64, even still loving Pokemon, like I probably would pass. I think if Pokemon really want to turn shit up on a level of like selling a game that's not your traditional Pokemon game, they need to bring back the trading card game and just stop playing. Because I really think that they already have a digital platform on their website where you can download it to your MacBook or PC or whatever the case may be. But like I truly think that they would absolutely dominate, especially in the climate of like people are now reselling Pokemon cards like crazy. Mark and I were talking about RSPN. I don't know if you guys heard, but it came up. And
listen,
this card culture is like crazy.
It's crazy right now.
Hold on to that conversation.
We will,
because that is an episode. It is an episode.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
It's
and
a full
I
episode.
think it's there. They need to consider it's a different game right now. I'm even like, Meelz, you know me, like I love it, but I fell off because it's a really expensive habit. But now I'm like, shit, maybe I fell off at the wrong time.
Right.
I need to jump back in.
This is how everyone with an expensive habit talks about it, Jeff.
Yeah,
well, no, it's the reselling habit. It's the reason I think a portion of why it's come back is because the cards cost so much money and resale culture is at a fever pace right now.
Yeah,
I mean, to the point where Nike employees and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
what?
We've been getting scammed for years. Okay, so Pokemon Snap. I'll be honest. When we saw it in the Pokemon Presents thing, it was definitely like, wow, this looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Fun.
I love seeing Pokemon in these different renderings.
Yeah, me too.
I do too.
Like, it makes you realize how few cinematics are in any Pokemon game ever.
Yeah, that needs to change.
Like, even when you think about when Tony Hawk came out for Game Boy Advance, like that was one of the launch titles, and it was like, holy shit, how is this on a Game Boy?
Yeah, and
Pokemon has never done that once.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Oh my god,
they don't care about it on that level. They've done so well getting off of being very minimal when it comes to how it looks, because they always beat their projections. And as long as we let them beat their projections, I don't think they're ever going to take it to the next level. When we start talking about, Pokemon Legends, I think that's maybe their chance, but we'll.
I think, Jeff, you and I are kind of a similar. We'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, I think, there's a lot of lure to it. You get to see Pokemon in their natural habitats, which is something you don't see in the normal game. Because like normally in just the regular games, they're like walking around shooting the shit, and now they're like swimming in water and jumping on swings and shit like that. I don't know what the hell is going on.
If you buy the game, good for you. If you don't, that's okay too. I think it's one of those titles like whatever.
April 30th. That's when it drops.
Okay.
April 30th. So
the date tells you all you need to know about it. I mean, the structure of the releases on these things is so like, I mean, obviously we know after seeing this event where it's like this one comes out in the spring. The remakes come out in the fall, and then the next one's coming out next spring. Like, it's for 6 month rollout.
I agree. Let's roll on to the next major release. The next in our Pokemon Presents episode, I guess. First of all, I mean, how did you guys receive the Pokemon Presents just in general? Half of it was nostalgia, half of it was actual games.
Okay, hang on. We have to talk about fucking the montage. I'm sorry. I was absolutely losing it. First off, the montage was epic. It was it's so incredible, good. Yeah. I was watching it for like, it was long, like way longer than it should have been, like 5 minutes or something. Yeah. And I was watching it like completely wrapped. I was like, what are they gonna say next? What single
2003
are they gonna blow my mind with next?
And where did they find link cables? Like
when they repeated the link cable phrase, like link cable, like the next time, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. I was like doing the Vince McMahon meme, like where his face gets like progressively more excited every time they said something. And it was my favorite part of it was that if the word they said was 2 words, only the first word, it would be like #card space game. Like it didn't actually, like it wasn't formatted properly. It was just fantastic all around. And it really did get me really excited.
No, it got me super fucking excited.
They did a great job. They did a great job.
The 25th anniversary of Pokemon, they were like, listen, we are a brand. We've been here. We do this. We've had several things.
I was also like, wow, some of these gimmicks have sucked over the years.
They've tried. It's Nintendo.
What stood out that sucked?
It's Nintendo. I mean, all the things that are like from an attachment standpoint were never really good. I think the best attachment that the Game Boy or SP had was the light before the extended light on the actual console. Other than that, the printer, I mean, actually, link cables are godly,
like it's cool, but it still like sucks.
It still sucks. Yeah.
Remember the little Gigapet thing they gave you for Heart Gold, Soul Silver thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I thought it was amazing. It was really cool to have it and like move Pokemon back and forth on it and take it, to work or whatever the case may be. But like, I wanted it to be a fucking Tamagotchi.
Pokemon to work.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like a Tamagotchi, like, all the time.
Yeah,
Well,
where's
they
I wanted like the Hey You Pikachu little walker thing with
yeah
my
Never,
Pokemon.
they
man.
they
Never.
they love that shit. They love you. They want you to experience this outside of like outside in the world as much as you do inside the game. So they want it to pretty much take over your life.
Yeah,
They still haven't
lifestyle.
revisited the idea of Pokemon Sleep, which was something they announced, which was
They
a
got
whole
they got to
thing.
revamp, man. They got to revamp, man. New
It was
promo
like
coming soon.
they listened to us sleep,
Let's call this
and we're
Pokemon
supposed to,
Knocked Out.
yeah.
They're gonna switch it up. They're gonna switch it up.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I think they want to continue to kind of like take over the entire world and stuff like that. Let's head over to the remakes.
Let's head over to the remakes. Let's
This
talk about
was
these remakes.
heavily rumored, heavily rumored.
By
to
us
the point
for
where
years.
Well, we spoke about it. Finishing up the Sword and Shield stuff, what they would do next, and we kind of all had agreed this has to be it. I mean, they've done things that have kind of hinted towards it. It's not Let's Go, but
it's not Let's Go.
But it's not Let's Go. I basically feel, honestly, I'm less excited for these two remakes than I am Let's Go. I mean, I don't
agree.
see myself.
Well, actually, no, I don't know.
I don't see myself like applying like true time to this what they're doing here. Like I get it. I guess they wanted to make a fast remake. It's still kind of chibi. It's done minimal. The battles are still the classic Pokemon battles that we know. You'll probably still go through the story, do the same, but it doesn't necessarily have. I'm not excited for this.
Yeah, it's a little like I'll play it, but I am. I mean, I don't know. It was I like that it was kind of a curveball in terms of what I thought was going to happen, because like Jeff referenced when we talked about last time, I think we all thought that these would have just been Diamond Pearl remakes in the style of Sword and Shield, and that would be it. Maybe with a little more open world going on, but that kind of happened, but not what we thought was going to happen. I mean, it was like Jeff, you said chibi. It was like I couldn't believe it. I was like, what?
They're really taking it there.
Remakes? Like,
what?
I don't hate it. I've always liked that style. I think it's cool, but what?
But look,
and I heard you motherfuckers like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly.
When I saw it, I knew. I said, okay. When I first watched, because I didn't watch it as it premiered, I watched it afterwards, like the actual show.
Oh, I watched it as it premiered, of course.
Yeah, I was locked up. Y'all know what happened. But I'm literally like, I'm watching it and I say, oh great, the main game's coming out in 2 years. Like I was thinking about it to myself, like, okay, well, this is nice, but we're not gonna get whatever they're gonna tell us next until I'm fucking 33. Like I'm over here like, oh my God. But again, I'm just gonna say it was underwhelming to me. I will play the games, but I can't see myself being like the normal Jeff, like Pokemon, this is it, this is what I want. Because they do this thing where they like their main event, right? We're gonna talk about Legends. Their main event game, it looks phenomenal. Before I give my true word to it, it looks and it's so pleasing to me that it just ruins what they're about to give me. And they do this shit a lot. And also, I mean, if I did want to turn on Sword and Shield, that is completely dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's things that just happen that they kind of end up pushing back what they have going on currently because I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about this game that runs like, Zelda.
Like it's weird that they were like I know why they made Link's Awakening in the style they made it in, but Link's Awakening, it was a Game Boy game. Like it's different. It's I don't know. It's not the same thing. Like they like Link's Awakening, they re-rendered in like this chibi style that like made it look cool, but kind of preserved the original game. This one, they've made and remade so many top-down ones that it feels like, why was this all you did?
The remakes should be consistent to each other.
Yeah,
as far
exactly.
As visually, I
agree.
Just if that's the case, just give us Let's Go Diamond Pearl and call it a fucking day. Like,
well, so I'll talk about the sort of my varying experiences between Let's Go and this one. I was on board for Let's Go when the idea of remaking Pokemon Yellow was out. I was like, yes, of course. That's the fucking, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And then I heard it was in Go thing. Like, it had the Go mechanics of you catching things, not really battling, all this other stuff. And I was like, I think I'm out. I'm sorry. I play Pokemon Go. It is just... I can't continue to do that on two different platforms. I'm just going to dedicate myself to one platform. But it looks so good. Like, it looks, and it just looks like an updated version for 2018.
Yeah, Let's Go was fun. It just had no purpose.
The fuck it came. Yeah, it just had no purpose. This game will follow a similar thing, and I think it's going to be, I don't know if it's Game Freak or the Pokemon Company's kind of like MO now when it comes to remakes.
I don't think this game is Game Freak. Is that weird?
No, it's not Game Freak. It's not Game Freak.
It's not.
It's ILCA.
Yeah.
But it's being headed by one of the longest Pokemon developers.
Junichi Masuda. Yes, of course. But I think because I remember specifically when they were doing the thing, when they were premiering it, they said the word faithful way too many times.
Yeah, you know what they're trying to do.
I read faithful and I was just like, so you're not going to change this up?
They didn't do shit. Yeah, exactly.
No. So when I hear faithful, I hear like, oh, we're going to do, that's the term of like, we're making this game exactly the game it was before, but it's just going to be updated graphics.
Please come, please come play this. Please buy this.
Yeah. But I think over in general, similar to Let's Go, right? Let's Go is not a game that you can incorporate in the meta. You can't, there's not going to be Pokemon that you battle unless you like throw them at home or something and then throw them somewhere else or something along those lines. Like, I don't think this is going to be a game similar to Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, or Heart Gold, Soul Silver, where you can continue sort of building these sort of Pokemon and maybe using them in battles and all this other stuff like that. This game is just going to be the end-all, be-all. It's going to be a one-of-one remake, it seems like, at least.
I bet there are going to be some Pokemon you can only get in, like, if you want to move some guys from Sword and Shield over to Legends, but then there's still some ones you can't. Like, there are going to be some exclusives in this. Like,
no, there's just too many Pokemon now.
Yeah.
There's just way too much. Like, I would have loved, back when it was Gen 4 and they did the remake after Diamond and Pearl, when they did the Heart Gold, Soul Silver remake, I'm like, Heart Gold and Soul Silver with all the fucking Pokemon? Yes. Are you kidding me? This, you get this scary realization that, yes, we can't put 1,000 Pokemon in games anymore. This is
they can, bro. They just don't have the willpower. They don't have the
absolutely. Well, I think it's a lot that goes into it in terms of like, we can, but we won't.
Take 2-3 years.
Business. Because we got to get you to pay for a whole bunch of other things. But this, I expect a one-of-one remake. I expect a few new, I mean, obviously there's got to be new features for certain things of like, okay, the transfer Pokemon thing is different. The way you trade is different. But like, HMs are no longer in the game.
And these are things to me that I feel like are just like they be hustling backwards with stuff because they do this shit where they will introduce new things that you can do throughout the game, but it doesn't carry over often, especially on a new title. So and I'm only saying this in reflection to Legends because Legends seems like a completely new fucking game. So what does this mean? The new stuff that they put in this game, what does it mean? Especially if I anticipate it being a one-off thing, like you said, Meelz. So I don't know.
Like they incorporate maybe a Meltan or something similar to that. They're just like, you can get this game and you can bring it over to the new game that comes out next month.
You know how it goes.
But that's kind of what I expect from it. Again, like everyone kind of said here, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, we'll play
because I love Diamond and Pearl. I love 4th gen game. I love that game. I'm beginning to realize now that maybe I love 5th gen more than this game, but I love this game. It was a part of me getting back into it. This was one of the games that Platinum was the first game that I bought after years of emulators.
Yeah.
So
Platinum's
I was in love with this game. I know they're going to switch it up. I know they're going to make people seem a lot less suicidal and maniacal in this game.
Oh man, let's raise hell, man.
The Cyrus is gonna be switched out with some guy named like Jack, and he's just like, I'm just a hacker. He's trying to hack the Pokemon world and bring back Giratina.
We need a hacker, man.
I mean, they do. I mean,
real hacker.
We could add a. We could add a couple other things. Anyway, it's being developed by ILCA, who was developed the Pokemon Home, which I was like, really? Okay, all right.
Makes a lot of sense considering Pokemon Home's usage, but whatever.
Yeah, and it takes up a lot of space on my phone. I'll be like, yo, what's going on here? But yeah, it's let me see what else people have looked up. It's like, all right, what else have they made? Let me actually take a look at. They made Pokemon Home, Yakuza 0, Dragon Quest 11, Nier Automata.
Yeah, those titles make it even worse.
These are like this is like a company they bring in to like do sequels that people don't care about as much as the main game.
Yeah, Game
Freak didn't even have time.
It was
be ahead
straight to video movie-esque games, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it will be $60, so don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I don't think this is a game. I'm comfortable with this game. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just gonna like download it. I don't even want to go to the midnight release. I don't need it.
Don't need no physicals.
Yeah, don't need no physical. Get me to the game. I don't know why I still buy physical. I just do. I
like physicals.
That was part of this. I remember specifically seeing the chibi thing. I was like, I'm not a fan. But I'm going to play it.
Kind of just.
But I feel like you're taking advantage of me knowing that I'm still going to play it and you do whatever you want anyway.
The shit's not enticing, but.
No, not so far. Not so far. If they announce like a different plot of like, okay, we remade the game, but it's like a slightly different plot. Like instead of like this is the alternate universe, like Pokemon games have apparently.
Let's Go is literally Pokemon Yellow. Outside of new features.
outside of no crass talking rival.
That's it, bro. Like, it is Pokemon Yellow.
Damn, we lost Blue to time. Let's switch to the main event. Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah,
I learned how to say Arceus.
I know. I say Arceus. I probably
same man.
Arceus has just been a part of the. Honestly,
sounds incredible. Why is it not Arceus?
It's just Pokemon in their pronunciation.
Does not sound cool.
If it was spelled Arkeus, I would say Arceus.
Right,
but it doesn't.
That makes him sound Swedish.
It does make him sound Swedish.
Something about arcs. I guess it's an arc. Let's look up Arceus.
I like Arceus better.
Arceus is in general the god Pokemon, the creator of all. So religion starts to jump in when we talk about Arceus.
You know what? It was kind of like sneakily put into some gold and silver, but didn't have as nearly as much of the lore as the Pokemon of space, time, and distortion.
They've waited so long to even talk about Arceus.
Yeah.
Like so long.
I agree.
Like, there's been slight episodes, obviously games, debut giveaways for it, but like he's even been in movies. But like there's for it to be the god, of Pokemon, I'm surprised it's
the fact that he's not
the video game process.
The fact that he's not even mentioned when I like leave the professor's office or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like it's just like, oh wow, there's the three main ones and then there's God. And it's like, well,
maybe we should tell me more about this.
Yeah, tell me more. Is it too much? Do you not want to impose your Poke religion on me?
It's really weird the idea that Pokemon like created the world.
Yeah. Because it kind of disputes. People should actually be praying to. I mean, I guess they do pray to Pokemon. I don't know. There's a whole bunch.
Arceus could have never debuted in '98 with us because they would have shut this shit down.
Yeah, they already thought Pokemon was like evil.
I know they would have shut it down.
Okay, let's talk about Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah,
I'm saying Arceus. That's
no,
how.
That's how this is consistent. I think it's consistent, dude. Listen.
No, it is. It is.
Okay,
all the YouTubers still say Arceus.
You already know. So my first reaction, and the reason why we say that, first of all, is Pokemon's fault. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's just
absolutely.
make that clear.
They don't follow. They don't actually follow like grammar and pronunciation patterns.
No, they don't. So, first thing I want to tell y'all is I think that this will be a constant title, meaning we'll get Pokemon Legends Lugia, I really feel that way. I just want to put that out there. I don't know if it's true, but I just wanted to say it.
Pokemon Legends Mew.
I agree.
Yeah,
Celebi,
yeah, I
all the other
really,
shit.
Exactly. I really do think it's something. But anyways, I think that having a true open world game for Pokemon, I think it's ridiculous that it's taken 25 years.
Yeah.
But it is here. But I do want to mention that they took way too long to give this to us. Looks like they're maybe feeding on I'm hoping the game is just a tad bit more mature. I know we run the E for everyone thing. Like, give me a T one time. Put a T on the game one time.
Okay, hey, let me ask you this question. Do you think it's going to be as open world as you want it to be?
I do. Okay.
Okay.
And I only say that because they're promoting it as such. I wouldn't, like if they, because technically they could say Sword and Shield was open world, and I'd be like, okay, well, I guess technically it was to some aspect.
Yeah.
But
clearly we talked about this before. They were working the kinks out of an open world.
They were working the kinks, exactly, we know this. They put things on games and then exploit it heavily in the next one, and this is what they're doing. I think it is great. I think it's obviously an open world Pokemon game would have been brilliant 10 years ago, but here we are. It looks nice. Looks like they heard everybody's tree and grass comment. I think the avatars look really clean. The wild Pokemon, the throwing the Pokeball. Who hasn't been waiting for this, right?
Yeah.
I've heard that there's no battle phase. Everything is seamless. If that's true, I think that is just fantastic.
That's crazy.
If the Pokemon just comes out, attacks at once, I think I think it looks really, really cool. I know there's some comparisons to the Zelda title. So what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Like game. It's good. Yeah. It's literally like it's ridiculous to suggest Nintendo doesn't have a singular style even among different games.
Sure.
Or that doesn't exist for everything. Like Halo looks like brute force, looks like Gears of War. Like they all the shit looks the same.
Right. Absolutely. It's like, oh, you like playing Pokemon Smash? Do you like Pokemon fighting? Huh?
Yeah. So here's the things about this for me. So I'm very hopeful for the open world thing. The only thing I think you kind of run into with it is they've exaggerated the open world thing before, so I'm a little gun shy on it. The other thing is that while the Switch is great, is something we talked about earlier, is that the Switch is not a rival for Xbox or PlayStation. I think most of us have a Switch and then have one of those other two. Because the Switch, you play, you can play Skyrim on the Switch. And if you missed Skyrim 8, 10, however long ago that was, it's really cool that you can now play it on a cheaper system that you can bring with you. But if, you judge Skyrim's open world by today's standards, probably it's still bigger than anything Pokemon has ever done. But, you're on a system that is inherently limited compared to the standards of open worlds by modern gaming's, definition of them.
Yeah, and I think that's where if there's this rumor on a Switch Pro or whatever Nintendo's next step is to taking the Switch to the next level.
4K Switch.
4K Switch. I don't know if there'll be a re-release for this game, or if the game, how sometimes they'll announce a game, but it's not really coming out for the current system. They just have to announce it that way, and then it'll come out. It may be something like that. Maybe it'll come out on both with a patch or whatever the case may be. But I do feel you as far as like questioning the true open world aspect of, because they do, they've said it before.
So playing. I'd be wanting to.
I'll tell you, like when I was in what we've seen,
I was in the Isle of Armor, I was like, okay, I'm gonna surf back to the mainland. That's how we're gonna do it. I'm not even gonna take the flying train or anything. I'm just gonna surf back. Could not surf back. I was so tight. I was like, I surfed all the way, dodged many Sharpedos in an effort just to make it back to the island. And it was just like, no, here's an imaginary wall that you can't pass through. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I look at this game. All right, so here's a couple. It's not really issues with the game. I'm also, a little miffed it took this long to get an open world actual game. The fact that we haven't got a game with Ash Ketchum just walking around, talking to other people. I mean, he's in the show talking to various people, getting various things, various quests, and going through battles and doing all these things you can see in actually this game too, thus far, because they haven't actually shown many people in this game. I think they haven't. I wouldn't be too trapped with the pictures that they're showing thus far, because I think it's really an early model. The fact there are no other people in this game but you is to me is just like, they're not finished with this.
Nowhere.
But the fact that we haven't got that in so long, my issue is, you know me, I'm a sucker for story.
I don't really know how the game is going to work. Like, what is happening in this game? Like, when they replaced the gyms with the tapus, I was like, okay, this is just something stupid that functions the same way as a gym.
Is this going to be the game, first of all, because it's a lot of old-timey shit, which I'm... like wooden Pokeballs or the thing. I was like, I didn't really need that.
There's no gyms. There's no such thing as battling.
But here's the thing. Is this going to be the game where I'm like, damn, I gotta feed my Pokemon. Let me go grab some berries from this town.
I think we're there, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I think they're gonna
try to make a fire.
They're gonna try to make us take care of these things.
Yeah, but they've never been good at that aspect of the game.
They haven't.
Never. Camping in Sword and Shield is like, it's cool if you want to take a picture or something. Like, I want to get all my Pokemon in the same place.
Well, maybe they're deciding to focus on that and focus away from the true, like, trainer versus trainer battle. I mean, you're still battling. You're just battling wild Pokemon. And I guess they're going to take the focus away from gyms and battles. And maybe they'll put it towards actual care for Pokemon and maybe building the world around you. I don't know. Like, Meelz, like you said, it's definitely, it's early times,
Yeah. Too early for me. Too early.
I feel you.
A little bit. Just modernize it. A little. Just modernize it a little bit. I don't need to be
pre-war. It's got to be pre-war right here.
It's got to be pre-war. But if they don't mention things like those, then it's like you're doing a disservice. The fact that you've mentioned all these things in the past and never really followed up on them.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
Like, are you just going to use this to retcon a bunch of shit?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let me read the description of a bunch of these things here. So,
sure.
Pokemon.com. Pokemon Legends Arceus game honors past Pokemon core gameplay while infusing new action and RPG elements. You'll need to catch, survey, and research wild Pokemon in a long gone era of the Sinnoh region to create and complete the region's first Pokédex. Now, I know why they chose Sinnoh.
Journeys, bro.
Yeah, I know they chose Sinnoh because it's the latest remake region, but Sinnoh doesn't have all that lore to me, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's been so long since I played it. The general gist of it is there's a Pokemon with space and time, and they are late guardians who supposed to protect the other shit and stuff like that, or like block them from doing crazy shit, something along those lines. I don't know, Legends, but it wasn't so much built in. Like, I felt like if they had went to, like, for instance, like Unova or something along those lines, where they have the Guardians, or if we had gone to, I mean, I guess no one wants to travel back to Sun and Moon, but I think those have a lot of culture and stuff embedded in it, and it already has no gym, so you're already used to it. But stuff like that, I'm not sure why they chose Sinnoh, but I'm not mad at it. It's whatever. Sinnoh's a great region. I would have chosen, or even Gold and Silver, the Johto region, because it has all those like old Japanese style buildings.
Yeah, I mean that's really where like they cashed in on the legendary elements of it.
Yeah,
bro, you just were gonna say it. Burned down towers, that type of thing.
Absolutely. All right. So second part says catch Pokemon. To catch Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus game, you can observe them to learn their behavior, then sneakily aim your Pokeball and let it fly.
That's right. Throw that shit. We throwing Pokeballs now, guys. We're here.
Down B, baby.
Down B.
I'm holding it.
They should bring it back, Pat. If they bring up down B, I don't know, man.
They never doing that shit. It wasn't real. And it was up B for me. I don't know.
Yeah. Up would be opening the Pokeball, Meelz. How can you think that?
I can't. I'll hit the left and the down D-pad at the same time.
Oh my god. You can also have your ally Pokemon battle wild Pokemon that you hope to catch. Just throw the Pokeball holding your ally Pokemon near, and just throw the Pokeball holding your ally Pokemon near a wild Pokemon, and you'll seamlessly enter a battle and command your Pokemon choosing from.
They didn't do a good job explaining what the fuck they're talking about when they say this stuff.
Because they don't even know. Yeah, they don't even know. They're like, wait a minute,
like,
are we going to really do this?
They're like, okay, not only can you throw your Pokeball at the Pokemon, but you can throw your Pokeball to release Pokemon too.
Yeah,
so
I'm like, am I in the Safari Zone or not? What's happening here? That's what I need to know.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, just make it a function. I'm not here to aim a Pokeball that already has a Pokemon in it to something else. Just make it a function. I'm about to beat someone up, etc., etc. Put the little arrows above them and have them point to something else. I don't know. Okay. So, an adventure in Sinnoh of Days Gone By. It says you'll be brought to the Sinnoh region, the setting for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, but the story unfolds in the long gone era before ideas such as being a Pokemon trainer or having a Pokemon League even existed. So I'm ready. Like, I'm so concerned. Pokemon doesn't do well when they
exist. You are one.
Yeah. Pokemon don't do well when they try to stray away from the formula of like 8 gyms, Pokemon League, something to build towards. It usually ends up being like Mystery Dungeon or some shit like that. All around, you'll find Pokemon living in wild, harsh environments. Of course, duh. They love a good sunlight or fucking raining or moving at 30 frames per second in snow. That makes Sinnoh unlike the region that you may remember from the days of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl games. So it's going to be a remixed region, I think. I'm assuming Mount Coronet is not going to be that thing where you have to actually travel through it to get to the other side. Maybe you can just walk around it or something. I don't know. Pokeballs of old. They talk about the wooden Pokeballs that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah,
like
they're disgusting.
Come on.
Somebody call Slithco.
Yeah, like just okay. So here's an interesting part. Meet your first partner Pokemon. Yeah. So the three we have to choose from.
This shit right here. What the fuck is going on? Pat,
Cyndaquil, and Oshawott.
What?
This is weird. This is weird.
They gotta have different forms. They gotta have old timey forms.
God, something. Megas.
They gotta have old time.
What's going on? Oh, you said old time forms?
Old timey forms before Cyndaquil was ravaged by environment.
I love Cyndaquil.
I love Cyndaquil too.
Who I'm picking here.
I mean, I don't know if I have a choice but to pick Cyndaquil. They could at least do Froakie in there or something.
I kind of like Rowlet.
I like Rowlet too, but it's not a.
But it's not a good. He's not good.
Yeah. I really like otters in real life, and I'm really mad that Oshawott sucks.
Oshawott sucks, bro.
Yes.
I don't understand what they're doing. And again, the design I thought was brilliant. Like I liked the last stage, but
give me overpowered starters. What are you thinking?
It's Cyndaquil. Yeah. Everyone's picking Cyndaquil. Everyone's gonna pick Cyndaquil.
They've got to have new forms. You know what? I don't even want to say that because they could just not have new forms, but they got to have old timey
or Christ.
Yeah, the environment back then was a lot more fruitful to Rowlet's environment, and thus he now changes into a fucking a golden owl or something along those lines. Some crazy golden hawk. Something. Cyndaquil gets a new type. Something, please. Something, for the love of God. And the fact that like these Pokemon existed out of all of them and like old timey things.
It's so funny. They literally like they brought in Cyndaquil, and then on the other two they said "fuck you."
Yeah, but even Cyndaquil was like, "What the fuck am I doing here?
What am I doing here?
Why didn't y'all bring me back years ago? It's not where I want to be right now." Like,
first of all, you know how far Unova is away from, Sinnoh region. There are 4 regions that are connected together, and it's the first 4. It is Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh. Those are connected together by the same sort of landmass to an extent.
Pokemon's kind of fumbled the whole how Pokemon got where it's here now. How do we, they don't really know. Like, they're just everywhere. So
even like Trico would have made sense over fucking
hell yeah.
But apparently you can catch wild Piplups and shit. I'm pretty sure they're gonna like
the starters seem like they're in the game.
Catch it. They're a major part of the game. They'll help form the region. Like, well, this Piplup tribe There's just so much history behind it, and we love Piplup. We pray to Piplup.
I wonder how many Pokemon Pokédex entries they're gonna ruin by bringing them in this game, because you start looking at like timelines, and if this is like predated, there's some Pokemon you just can't put in this game.
Yeah. It's also going to be funny that like you read like a Pokédex entry that's like, this Pokemon used to live in large groups, and you're like, there's just one alone here.
There's just one. It's like there aren't anymore. Like, what do you mean?
Right. Oh my god.
Crazy.
I mean, that's all they got on the website. They talk about Arceus a little bit. It says, holding the key to this tale, this Pokemon is known as Arceus. Arceus is said to have shaped all there is in the world. Just how is this mighty Pokemon connected to your journey? But it says it there. Alpha Pokemon, height 10'6", weight 705 pounds.
Nice.
Godly. So yeah, we'll see how all this sort of. I mean, they're gonna think more. This comes out early 2022, so they've got a long way to go with this game. I appreciate them telling me this so far in advance.
Yeah, it was getting this timetable was crazy, as opposed to like when they announced Skyward Sword and they were like, "We know you all want a sequel to Breath of the Wild. We can't tell you shit."
It's gonna be a while. We're still working on it. Trust us.
I watched that and I was like, "Wow,
that shit ain't coming out for probably another 2-3 years, bro."
Yeah.
Straight up.
It was like, yo,
all these people who came back to Zelda for the Switch, it's like, no, these games have 5 years between them.
They do, and they're not easy games. Like, they take a lot of time to play.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of all what's going on majorly in the Pokemon world as of late.
There were some people did take some screenshots of some things that they saw throughout the trailer. There appears to be about 3 to 5 new Pokemon that people have seen shadows of in that trailer.
Okay.
They're in Legends?
In Legends. You can't really focus them out.
They're gonna muddy out this fucking Pokédex.
Yeah, they're out there.
I hope there's some cool link between, like, I hope it's gonna be a gimmick no matter what, but I hope there is something cool about like linking Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, whatever. I think I got those backwards. Whatever. I hope there is some cool link between those and Legends.
Well, it is pre-Sinnoh. I assume there'll be something involved.
Yeah. But it's weird that the other one. It's weird that like the ones that take place in modern day come out first. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be
take
crazy
this mystery fossil to the game?
Yeah,
transfer this mystery fossil to the game.
This is what happens. This is what Pokemon needs to do, guys. You complete the game. Arceus comes down. He thanks you. Okay, and then you buy a DLC which expands the Sinnoh region into what we know it is today. And then you gotta go through gyms, and then they would never do that. It's too much work for Game Freak.
The most shocking thing they've ever done is still when you could go into Johto at the end of Gold and Silver. They have it was like, what? This is like, and it wasn't
didn't know
8 gyms, but it was still like a significant amount of them. And man,
was it not all 8?
It wasn't all 8 because of the way like the world had been restructured.
It was 8.
Was it really?
8, Pat?
Really? I thought it was only like 6 or 7. I thought like,
nah, you get all 16 badges.
You get all 16.
So is Blue is at Viridian?
Yeah, Blue's in Viridian.
Okay.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought like Surge's gym was closed and Giovanni was gone. For some reason, I thought it was only. See, it's even better than I remember.
Some of them were replaced by other people, but all 16
most of them were the same. Most of them were
okay.
If you guys can play Heart Gold and Soul Silver again, even if it is like emulator, like I suggest it, because that game.
I agree.
They're so good.
It's just good. That's it. They have not even bothered with a surprise since then. They have not bothered. They have not tried.
If they want to release a full game, like, just don't even fuck remaking the game in this chibi version. Just straight up re-release Gold and Silver, or Gold Soul Silver for $30 on the Switch store. People would be so happy.
That's all I need.
Yeah, easily.
I will play that shit. Doesn't matter.
So fellas,
Pokemon.
I think this is going to wrap up our conversation on this. However, I think we got a couple more episodes in the can. I think we can definitely talk about the trading card game in a future episode.
I think we should.
I think we can talk about. I mean, once more news about this game comes out, we'll be back to talk about whatever jazz and razzmatazz they come up with, how they ruin the decks. Like Pokemon is going to be like, oh, it's actually number 904, but you can only catch it in its own region, which is like number 300 and something.
Yeah.
We'll talk about all of that. My quest one day, eventually, for Pat to download Pokemon Go to his phone. I will revisit that quest.
Also, are you guys okay with passing on a new generation for at least another 2 years? Because that's what it looks like right now. If Legends comes out, spring, that means it'll probably push for the rest of the year, maybe with a DLC or expansion. This year we won't. We're looking at not having another generation for maybe 2 years.
I mean, look, I don't care about going to a new region and getting new Pokemon at this point. I would rather have a cool spin on the game.
Yeah,
and it looks like maybe they're actually trying to do that. So
yeah, I agree.
Ultimately, I'm like, oh, the gameplay looks like maybe it's too different from the
it looks different.
But how many? Like, I've played the other ones 30 times. Like, who?
Yeah.
Ultimately, what do I lose if this is different? Like, even if it's worse, ultimately, like, it would suck. But I am happy that it appears to be like different enough that I might actually stop complaining about how they're never different.
This is true.
I matter more than anything, and I think just because there's so many fucking Pokemon anyway. It's like what's the point? A new region only brings new Pokemon, which brings new complaints, which brings they can't put everybody in the game. I think at this point they're focusing now on the stories and how do we tell these stories and how.
As they should. Let's take a break making these things and make a perfect game.
I mean, we've been playing these for 25 years, and I can no longer keep all the Pokemon straight. I don't need new Pokemon.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Like, throw a couple of them in there, make them really good. But
yeah, we only need new.
Cool if there were like new Pokemon that weren't like. What I'm also sick of is like all these legendaries being like event Pokemon. Like, it makes them all the same kind of. Like add new Pokemon in the game that aren't legendaries, and that also aren't starters, which are basically legendaries. I don't know.
No,
I haven't
you're
fully thought this through, but it's weird that mostly when they add Pokemon in a 1 or 2 off faction, it's like,
you are right.
What's
legendaries, mythicals, and those like pseudo legendary Pokemon
need to be more to it. Thank you guys for listening thus far. We enjoyed this episode. It was great talking about this thing. I feel very, very spirited.
It really is.
We will see you guys soon. Of course, you can follow us at wherever the @ will be in the Twitter thing that you see when this episode goes up. And you can follow us at the Lookout RNC. We got so much stuff going on. We have a new episode of Lookout this week, new episode of Big Eyes this week. I think we're going to have another episode of Big Eyes this week. And of course, you have this. So thank you guys for subscribing. Stay tuned and all this other stuff like that. And we will be back next time. Take care.